morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and a good morning. Let me just get this screen up and wait till this about finished. But yes, while are Celtic playing at, I'm going to look at the Celtic squad, and I want to run through the Celtic squad that were the squad for the Champions League that we had last season. And I'm going to talk about the players that are on the verge of leaving Celtic. We're not going to talk about players just yet. I'm going to leave the big story till the end. Big story of what is happening with the Croatia goalkeeper. Yep, that's fine. Just get that down. So yeah, the squad for the Champions League for the last season. First time out from scratch early enough to catch this live, says Danny Boy. And Grab Boy says, hail, hail, morning troops. Right, the squad from last season. I'm going to run through this squad, right? So you had young Morrison, age 20, in goals. You had Joe Hart, you had Scott Bain, and you had Benji Siegrist. Goalkeepers that were all in the squad for the UEFA Champions League last season. Well, we've lost Joe Hart due to retirement. Benji Siegrist has allegedly left Celtic, according to the player himself, and he is looking for a new club. And he did post on Instagram. He posted a picture. It was his missus posted a picture of Benji excited for things to come, and they were at an Asian restaurant, and he's sitting with two sticks, basically, and it was basically him between the sticks again. And take from that if you want. I mean, it's obviously the fact that he has brokered the deal, it's said, to leave Celtic. And then when you look at defenders, Montgomery, he went out on loan. Michael Frame, he went out on loan. Alistair Johnston, Greg Taylor, Gustav Lagerbielke, Carl Starfelt, Liam Scales, Nat Phillips, Norocki, Kobayashi, Carter Vickers, Bernabe, Ralston and Welsh. Those were the players that were included in the Champions League last season. Bernabe has gone. He's not coming back until Christmas, if he comes back to Celtic at all. Kobayashi was put out on loan, and Stephen Welsh got injured 5 days after signing a new contract, which left us with Ralston, who was a nice squad player, and Carter Vickers was injured. Also, Rocky was injured. We had Nat Phillips and Liam Scales starting the season, whilst Carl Starfelt, although he was in the Champions League squad, left Celtic days later. Yes, he left Celtic days later. In the midfield, it gets even funnier. Ideguchi, Soro. This is putting things into perspective of where we were at the beginning of the last season to where we finished the season. This is coming from UEFA.com, this squad list. So Ideguchi, Islam Soro, Turnbull, O, McCarthy, Kwon, Iwata, Paulo Bernardo, Matt O'Reilly, Rio Hatate, Callum McGregor, Daniel Kelly, James Forrest, Ben Summers, and Rocco Vata. Right. We basically ended the season with the players that performed for us the season before. I mean, out the door went Ideguchi, Soro left, Turnbull left at the Christmas, McCarthy's been man missing, even though McCarthy was in the Champions League squad, which is absolutely disgusting. The fact that James McCarthy was in the UEFA squad for last season, and someone really needs to ask the question at Celtic at the next press conference. They need to ask the question. One of you journalists out there have to do it, and we'll talk about the journalists in a minute. But one of those journalists that go to Celtic Park need to ask the question: what is the story with James McCarthy? It's as simple as that. They need to ask the story. What is the story with James McCarthy? And it just has to be asked. Anyway, get back to this Celtic squad on UEFA.com. Right. We then go to the forwards. Lewis Palmer, Kyogo Furiashi, Said Haksabanovic, we'll talk about him in a second. Adam, he wasn't in the Champions League squad. How's Adam Ida in the Champions League squad? That's a strange one. Because he didn't come until the Christmas and we were out of Europe by then. Anyway, Nico Kuhn, Albion Ajeti, Leila Bada, Yang, O, Marco Tilio, Dyson Mida, and Mikey Johnston. And the players that left Celtic out of that squad, obviously Leila Bada, Ajeti, said Haksabanovic was sent out on loan, and there's big news when it comes to said Haksabanovic. It takes us nicely on to the next section of the video. You will notice this morning I did post the link to footballdirect.se. They said that Sector Haksabanovic is looking, well, it's in Swedish. It's in Swedish, but you can get the gist of it. Said Haksabanovic is about to leave Celtic and join Malmo. Malmo. There you go. Can you remember Malmo? Yeah, I remember Malmo away. Good trip. Crap result. Anyway, that must have been about 2015, 2016. The Malmo one, wasn't it? It was under Ronnie Dyler, I know that. So yeah, it must have been 2015, 2016. 2016, I think it was. But anyway, the transfer speculation this morning is said Haksabanovic is leaving Celtic and he's away to join Malmo, and that's coming out of a Swedish publication. Right, on to a bit of an update. We all jumped on the bandwagon yesterday, and all the journalists, real journalists, you've got to remember, I'm not a journalist, and that's the good thing about doing what I do. I'm just a YouTuber, so I'm not a journalist. I don't like journalists. I think that they spread a lot of lies sometimes, and we all got caught out yesterday. But there has been a journalist. There has been a journalist coming out of Croatia. Croatia has taken to Twitter. He has taken to Twitter, and he said Dominik Likovic or whatever, I can't pronounce it. He's probably glad that he's not coming. Won't join Celtic FC. Not a single word has exchanged between Dominik and Fenerbahce on the matter. Rumours from Turkey and Scotland were completely false. Everything was confirmed by his public relations agent. So there we go. We all got done. And I'm not a journalist, so I don't care. But it was funny because then I went looking for follow-up stories. And obviously there's going to be quite a lot of them. And we'll talk about Alistair Johnston in a minute also, because some of the headlines are quite funny about Alistair Johnston. And if Celtic are looking for a goalkeeper, they need to look at the Canada goalkeeper, because I watched the highlights from the Canada game last night versus Peru. It went on during the night. And I tell you one thing, the Canada goalkeeper, he's a keeper. He's a good keeper. If we're looking for a goalkeeper, have a look at the Canadian goalkeeper, Celtic, because he's not too bad. But anyway, back to the Dominik, like the Croatian goalkeeper. Anyway, this is where it gets funny. It says, where is it? Celtic have obviously been linked with a number of goalkeepers, but where is it? Croatian goalkeeper. Reputable. Yeah, this is coming from one of the Celtic journalist sites. They are journalists, right? This is coming from one of the Celtic journalist blogs. They also do YouTube. This is coming from their site. It's not guys that do the YouTube channel, but it is coming from a Celtic journalist site, and they're saying that a credible journalist, a credible Croatian journalist, which makes you think, right? Everyone in Scotland, absolutely everyone, and all the journalists, right, in Scotland, and Celtic journalists and everything else, all got excited yesterday. I get excited because I'm a YouTuber. I get excited because I want to see Celtic doing the best. I get excited because I get to talk about Celtic on here. So the fact that sometimes you get it wrong, you're going with the flow. But at least I'm not a journalist putting my reputation on the line. I'm just a YouTuber. YouTubers don't have reputations. We just get to sit here and talk absolutely everything about Celtic. Who does the Canadian goalkeeper playing for? I'm not sure, Chilpill. I'm not sure, but he is a decent keeper, and he made some cracking saves last night. Some cracking saves. I'll actually put, if you haven't seen, I'll put it in the list so you can watch it after the Copa America. It's had 81,000 views. I'll put it on there and then I'll pin it, right? So you can have a look at it after this. I'll pin it at the top. So after this video, you can go and have a look at the Canada Peru game. Now, the Croatian goalkeeper was bullshit for fuck's sake. Yeah, I know it was. But at least I'm not a journalist and putting my reputation on the line, and there was a lot of them ran with the story. Anyway, I like to get excited. If I don't get excited, you don't get excited. And do you know what? This is entertainment. YouTube's entertainment, and people forget that it's an entertainment platform. People tune into this for entertainment. You don't tune into this for fucking serious news. That's for sure. Anyway, Croatian news rubbishes the goalie joiners. Yeah, I just said that. T1, I said it, and it wasn't Croatian news. It was one journalist on Twitter. It was one guy on Twitter, and I'll put it up. I'll put the post up because I am quite good that way. And there we go. There's the Twitter account from the journalist that rubbishes the story. So I am quite open to just putting everything out there. I mean, you can go and find the stuff yourself. But anyway, back to the game last night. Now, a lot of the publications, including Scottish media this morning, right? Oh my goodness! Watch Alistair Johnston headbutt. It's hardly a headbutt. I'll be honest, it's hardly a headbutt. I mean, I tried to find the actual footage for it, and it was one of those ones where two players are talking to each other, right? And one player, and it is true, if you do that to another player, you're going to get sent off. You are going to get sent off. But the funny thing is one of the Scottish publications said that Alistair Johnston was left dazed. He was left dazed. It's Alistair Johnston we're talking about. You'd have to knock him out with a tank. You'd have to knock him out with a tank. But anyway, when you watched the game last night, they did get a sending off. Peru did get a sending off, and it was a hefty tackle. But it was some game. It was some game. So after this, go and watch that. And Canada did win 1-0. And there were some right meaty tackles going in, and the Peru player got sent off because, let's face it, his studs went right into the ankle. He's 36. We need a younger keeper for a few years. Well, that's that out the window then. He's 36. But he's a cracking goalkeeper. He is a cracking goalkeeper. Canada would have played Scotland off the park. I wouldn't say something. Right, let's get some clickbait. Baz on the goalie stuff. Normally, your good info. What happened? Well, I'll be honest, we all got stung. Right? And there was a lot bigger YouTube accounts than me got stung with it also, that also put the story out. But it is what it is. Do you know what it is? I'm not a journalist. It looked, I should have looked into the story more, and you look right back the paper trail, as they say. And I looked back as far as it did, and it looked as if it was a kosher story. It looked like it was a kosher story, and so it wasn't really clickbait on the goalie stuff. If you look at some of the headlines that were in Scotland last night, the deal was done and dusted. So there was a lot more. Spending. I'll get into some of the comments now. Let's get into some lazy journalism everywhere, Baz. A lot of them were taken in yesterday. Don't worry. Yeah, exactly. And do you know what? I'm not a journalist. I'm a YouTuber, and this is just an entertainment platform. Anyway, morning. Lorna says good morning. Let's jump back up to the comments and see who's all on board this morning. Danny Boy, talk to you. Paul Beard is in the house. Tam Mac, Mark M is in the house. Chill Pill. Getting fed up with Celtic. Yes, so am I. Liz Donnelly's in the house. Says good morning, Baz. Christopher is in the house. Spacey's in the house from a cloudy. It's cloudy here today. Don't worry about it. We're getting a storm coming over from Africa, which I'm really looking forward to. Woo! Rain and fucking African sand. It's great. Cream rises to the top. Yep, it does that. Seriously, Baz, we need some good news on signings. I don't think, and this is my honest opinion now, I don't think Celtic will make any announcement this week. And that is the way it is. I don't think Celtic will make any announcement this week. Don't get excited about it. Celtic are going to get people back into training this week. They'll start putting out little bits of media stuff on their socials, showing players coming back. I don't think anything will happen this week. Maybe the first week in July, which then leads to the question is, we know the players that we need. And we look at that squad. If you missed the beginning of the video, I went through this is on UEFA.com, right? And this is the squad, and I'll run through it again. This is the squad from last year on UEFA.com. Morrison, Joe Hart, Scott Bain, Benji Siegrist all in goals. We've lost Joe Hart, we've lost Benji Siegrist. We're now stuck with Scott Bain, a 32-year-old in goals that hardly done a thing for Celtic. In the defence, we've got Adam Montgomery, Michael Frame, Alistair Johnston, Greg Taylor, Gustav Lagerbielke, Carl Starfelt, Liam Scales, Nat Phillips, Nor Rocky, Kobayashi, Carter Vickers, Bernabe, Ralston and Welsh. Well, Bernabe's gone. Kobayashi's gone. And is he still on loan? Or is he back? And young Montgomery and all the younger players were all sent out on loan, so that decimated the squad. In midfield, we had Idaguchi, Soro, Turnbull, Ohm, Soro. Even just saying that, even saying those three players shows you how far the squad has had to change this summer. Idaguchi, Soro, and Turnbull have all left the club. That was three players that were in the UEFA.com. Go to UEFA.com and you get the Celtic squad for last year. Three players that have gone. James McCarthy's in the squad. Why is he even in the squad? Ohm, Kwon, Iwata, Paulo Bernardo, he's left the club. He was only on loan. Matt O'Reilly, Rio Hatate, Callum McGregor, Daniel Kelly, James Forrest, Ben Summers went out on loan, and then Rocco Vata. The forwards, Lewis Palmer, Kyogo Furuhashi, said Haksabanovic, who is looking like he is leaving Celtic and he's going to Malmo. Adam Ida, Kun, Ajeti, Albion Ajeti is still in that squad at the beginning of the year. You'd think that UEFA.com would update their squad list, but they just get it at the beginning of the season and they put it up and that's it. And then you've got Leila Bada, Yang, O, Marco Tilio, and Dyson Maida and Mikey Johnson. Mikey Johnson went out on loan. Tilio went out on loan. Looks like he's leaving the building. There's rumours that Yang might be leaving the building. Leila Bada left the building. Albion Ajeti has left the building. And it's a case of, what are Celtic doing? Let's be honest. What are Celtic doing? Anyway, another Peter Lawwell transfer window. Brendan will walk again. I don't think he will. Let's jump through. The Croatian keeper was bullshit. Yep, we spoke about that. Ali, Colin Sweeney says, I think we got excited. We're hoping for a marquee signing. Yes, Colin, we are. We are looking for that. Is that. Yeah, we are. No, we are. Let's face it. We're done and dusted. As fans, we've went through a few seasons now where we've brought in quite a lot of players that, let's face it, aren't going to make it at Celtic and never would make it at Celtic. Last year's project signings were terrible, absolutely terrible. The fact that you've still got an Irish player that was born in Scotland that came from Motherwell in Hamilton back in the day, McCarthy still at Celtic, is an absolute mind-boggling situation. Canadian keeper was class last night. Yep, we spoke about that. I wasn't taken in yesterday. I believe nothing until it's official. Danny Boy, just spot on there. And I think until it is, we know for fact that it's happening. I think that Celtic are keeping their cards very close to their chest this summer. And it's as well as Croatia news. Chilpel's missed that one. Jumped up. Morning Bat says Lindsay Greenwood, Pork Chop Stress. Colin, we can all live in hope. We've seen the movie before. Danny Boy says, do our board actually meet and discuss the situation regarding the transfer window? Yes, they would have done that. Morning from Zurich. Ian Royce still in Zurich. I'm taking about the Peru's goalkeeper who's also had a good game. Yeah, he did. Yeah, when it goes to the board, they would have had discussions before the end of the season. And they would have sat down with Brendan and they would draw up a list. They would draw up a list of players that Brendan wants. And it'll probably be in an order. It was like, well, here's my top choice, here's my second, and here's my third choice. And that's probably the realistic angle that Brendan goes in at. You know, it's like, I really want this guy. Can we afford him? No. Like, can we go for this guy? We'll think about it. Can we go for this guy? Maybe. And then Brendan's offered someone else, which is the way that Celtic are going. Will Brendan Rodgers walk? I've seen a few comments saying that Brendan Rodgers will walk. No, he won't. I feel like another piss poor transfer window, dragging heels as always, says Ali Boy. Just to reiterate, I despise the board with a passion, says Green Smoke. Oh, well, I say things like that and I get absolutely pelters for folk online. Anyway, even Elvis has left the building. Fucking Elvis is probably still kicking around Celtic Park going, you're just Rangers in the skies. Yes, you are. Anyway, if we get quality between the sticks, then we can build from there. Hail, says Catholic Rebel. Danny Boy says the players are free for a reason. Most are hopeless. Yep. Bobby says here's hoping that maybe Juranovic will put in a good word about us and he will still have a shot at the keeper. Are the unsung comedians of Scottish still homeless and selling asbestos in Sucky Hall Street? I think so, yeah. That's a story that was brushed under the carpet since it was released. It's where are they going to play? Krebs was the Canadian goalkeeper who played last night, not the 36-year-old. It wasn't. Was it Krebs? Where is it? I don't know. Green Smoke says, "You have the board with absolutely no ambitions, so don't worry, get my hopes up and to twist the knife and boast about profits." Well, that's pretty much the Celtic way, isn't it? That is the Celtic way to talk all about profits. Now, there has been 411 people have watched the video so far. We've had 48 thumbs up, so giving the video a thumbs up. Anyway, we'll just reiterate on the Celtic news this morning is the fact that said Haksabanovic looks like he is going to Malmo. That's coming out of Sweden. That is coming out of Sweden. Whether you believe me or not, I don't really care. I'm just reporting it as I see it. It's a publication that is coming out of Sweden, and they're saying that said Haksabanovic is going to Malmo. You know that Celtic will end up meeting Malmo in the Champions League again, and we'll said Haksabanovic will score against us. There's a Creole. I'm going to read some of the Celtic ones out. Earlier today, a report from Turkey suggested that the Croatian international goalkeeper was set to swap Fenerbahce for Brendan Rodgers' side, citing a price tag in the vicinity of 7.6 million, 9 million euros was on the table. But Croatian journalists has taken to social media and says it's not true. It's not true. He's not travelling to Glasgow. There's another one says that it's a reputable. This is a Celtic site saying a Celtic news site saying a reputable journalist, even though they all put it out yesterday that it was pretty much a done deal. And so did I, but I just went with the flow. And sometimes you do get it wrong, but I'm just a YouTuber, so I'm not putting nothing on the line. I ain't putting nothing on the line. Anyway, Glasgow's Green and White says, "Good morning, troops." T1 says, "Bloody hell. We don't get why don't Celtic get Desmond involved in the transfer talks? He's a brilliant businessman." Because he employs people at Celtic to do the job. And Michael Nicholson's been in and around Celtic for a long time, and he is one of the old guard and the seen as one of Lawwell's band of merry men. That fit the family, if you like, the mafia that runs Celtic. Let's say it like that. Morning, Baz Hill says, Gerald Johnson. Morning to you. According to Transfer Market, Copa is valued at 2.5 million, plays with Portland in the MSL, contract expires in 2025. Well, there's a good shout for a goalkeeper then. Do you know what I mean? If you're looking to get someone in, Desmond is a millionaire for a reason. I think he's a billionaire, not a millionaire. I think he's more a billionaire. He's bound to be the assets that he has around the world. He's bound to be a billionaire. Nowadays, accuracy isn't number one; it's being first, whether it's shite or not. Yes, and that's it. That is it. It's all about who can get out there first. And I was just in the right place at the right time yesterday to try and get what I saw was the correct information. Will everyone else come out and say they got it wrong? Probably not, because they're all journalists. They are all journalists. Anyway, it's all fantastic. Who's up for another live this afternoon? I might do another live this afternoon, probably about the same time as yesterday. So check out the chart, the tightest billionaire in Ireland. Aren't all billionaires in Ireland tight? It's the same with Scottish. Look, we're talking about, right, let's talk about the owner, right? Because Desmond is number one shareholder, right? Number two and number three shareholders are Scottish. And people don't think about that. And they have absolutely nothing to do with Celtic. They're silent shareholders. They don't even have a place on the board. They don't even go to the AGMs. The guys who own the second and third biggest amount of shares in Celtic are Scottish and live in Scotland. Walk the streets with all you guys that still stay back home. Anyway, what about Paddy Roberts? Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, Jesus. Desmond needs to stay out of the transfer stuff. He was responsible for McCarthy. But he was also responsible for... And this is the only time I'll stick up for DD, right? He was responsible for Martin O'Neill. He went out and he got Martin O'Neill, and when the board members were trying to get someone else, he also went out and got Brendan Rodgers first time round when the board were trying to get someone else. He also stuck his neck out and phoned Ange and done a Skype call with Ange. And Ange even said that Dermond says to Ange, "What do you want? What do you want? What do you need to come for this job?" And Ange said, "Nothing. I'll just come myself. I'll just come myself. I'll take the backroom staff that's there." So sometimes Dermot Desmond does stand up and be counted when it matters. When it matters. So we can't really knock him as an owner. I mean, you could go down the road, and I mean, he has come out and his son's come out saying that they will never sell their shares. So it is what it is. It is what it is at Celtic. Anyway, I've been on the go for 25 minutes now. I'm going to do another live this afternoon. We'll just do a little update just to see exactly what's going on in the world of Celtic news and media and see if there's any more crazy ideas. What day is it actually? What fucking day is it? It's Wednesday, isn't it? Tomorrow morning, we will be going live tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. because the announcement of the fixtures is tomorrow, I believe. I'll double check though. And SP. Yep. 27th of June, which is tomorrow, 9 a.m. I was correct. The SPFL fixtures will be announced at 9 a.m. tomorrow. They'll probably get leaked somewhere this evening. They always do. But they are out at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So make sure you join us, and I'll schedule it, whatever you want to say. Me and the mice say that conversation all the time. Schedule. Anyway, we'll be going live tomorrow morning, 8:45, just before the fixtures are announced, and then we can talk about the fixtures, and the excitement of the season begins once again. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, all around.